Cheers. Happy Sunday, everyone. Hope you guys are having a good day and that you guys are calming yourselves, calming down the manic panic. And I'm so excited to have you guys here today because I'm going to talk to one of the heroes that I found amidst all this bad news. There's been so much bad news everywhere in the last week around coronavirus, and I just felt so powerless. And then I thought, what could I do to make myself feel better and feel powerful? So in light of everything that's happening, I thought about something that Mr. Rogers of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood had said. And he was saying that back in the day, his mom's response to the bad news that he saw was that look for the helpers, because in the helpers you'll find hope. And I have so much hope. I got so much hope after finding this woman by the name of Ashley from Brooklyn, New York. And I'm going to bring her on now to see if she can chat. Hey, Ash, I see you there. Hope you guys are all well. Hey, Alex. Hey, Victoria, William. Okay, now Ash, request to join. Here you go. We're getting good at this. And I'm so excited to chat with you. And I'm so excited you guys all are here. Hi, Kevin. Kevin Lee is in San Jose, and he's helping us kind of monitor this. Hey, girl, what's up?
Hi, how are you doing? Good.
Good. Cheers.
Cheers. I have a different one this time. I have the sriracha
one. I just got a boring clear one. Cheers.
Cheers.
From San Francisco to Brooklyn.
Yes, from New York. How are things over there?
It's good. It's rainy, but it's, it's trying to look through all the raininess and the sadness and all the manic panic that's happening. So you're a ray of sunshine. How's the weather there?
Honestly, it's beautiful. It's kind of funny, and not a lot of people on the streets as usual, but the weather outside's gorgeous, so that's always nice.
Well, thanks for joining me, because I was just telling people here the reason why we're chatting today is because there's so much manic panic, and to be real, every time I'm on social media and I'm watching the news, it just really causes me to stress. It makes me rethink myself. Like, I just was at Trader Joe's today and it was actually okay. I see everybody everywhere. Food's gone everywhere. And I'm like, is it really, really gone? The pasta was gone, but fresh produce, meat was restocked.
Right.
So
here in Brooklyn, all the vegan stuff was gone. So all the Beyond Meat products were completely gone here in Brooklyn. So priorities.
But you know what? Actually, you inspired me, because I saw that you went to the Asian store the other day, and I had it on my list to go to the Asian store. And there was a lot of stuff yesterday when I went here in San Francisco to the Asian market.
Yeah. So, surprisingly, all the Asian markets here are pretty stocked. So it was easy to find what I needed. Other than Shin Ramen Black, it was completely sold out in every Asian market I went. But I kind of blame the movie Parasite for making that.
Yeah. I haven't had that ramen, and actually, guess what? I haven't watched Parasite, so I have to watch that. But is it going to cause me panic, though?
No, it's not going to cause you panic.
So the reason for this conversation was because we're trying to quell the panic, especially with this outbreak of coronavirus. There has been an outbreak of so much anti-Asian sentiment and attacks, right?
Yes.
And you posted this amazing story that really touched my heart and made me tear up on the Asian Hustle Network. First and foremost, why the Asian Hustle Network? You have your social platform. Other places. So Asian Hustle Network, by the way, is this private Facebook group for that all y'all that aren't a part of it, but she and I are a part of it. So I saw your story. Why did you post there?
I wanted to post my story on Asian American Hustle in particular because a lot of those people are very hardworking. They're entrepreneurs. They're, high level positions in their fields. And I know for as hard as a lot of us work, we also have the other side of us that is empathetic, that is caring, and that does want to help other people. So I thought the best way to broadcast that would to be to those people, because not only do they have big networks themselves, but I'm assuming they also have big hearts.
Yeah, and so let's get to it. So the post, it was short and so sweet, and we'll post it, Kevin, if you can post we'll post a photo, a screenshot of it later, but it touched me so much. So why don't you tell us what happened? Where were you going and what happened?
So I was on my way to Brooklyn. on the train, and I was sitting there, and an elderly Chinese woman sat next to me and asked me for directions because trains were running on different lines that day. And she had a mask on, and I told her which train it was. And then she said to me quietly, in Cantonese, that she was afraid to walk around in Chinatown. She was afraid to go home in broad daylight. It was broad daylight. It was 10 a.m. And she lived right off of Canal Street, which is our main street in our Chinatown. And I immediately knew that, whatever I had planned, which was a meeting for work, that I was going to skip my stop. I was going to walk her home to make sure that she was safe and that she felt safe. So when I walked her home finally, she was just so grateful, on the brink of tears, and, wrapped a 20 in her hand, crinkled up a 20, and put it, I know it's tough, and put it in my hand and closed my hand over it to make sure that I got it. A very traditional Asian form of giving money other than red envelopes, and told me to take it. And I told her, no, it's the least I could do. I mean, of course I would do this. And then, she proceeded by picking up a sack of oranges in the corner of her kitchen and trying to give me that too. And
that part gets me.
I think that's the part that when you're Chinese in particular, you know what that means. That means if someone's trying to give you oranges, that means that they love you, they care for you.
Yeah.
And it really hurt because, here's this elderly woman afraid to go outside. How hard is it going to be for her to get supplies without, let alone the fear of attacks? And she's trying to give me all of her oranges, and sorry.
You give me every time.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. And here she is trying to give me her money and her food. And I just think to myself, like, in our culture, we really care about our elders, and I think a lot of other cultures do too. It's just heartbreaking. It's just really heartbreaking to see someone so much older in fear of their safety, let alone the fear of them surviving this virus.
Yeah, and,
so
that's the part that got me. I was reading and you're getting me again because I can't help but think about my papa. And papa, for those of you guys that don't speak Cantonese, is your maternal grandmother, or my ma, which is in Cantonese, or my ma, which in Cantonese means your paternal grandmother. And both of my grandmothers are gone. They're no longer here, and both of yours are no longer living, right?
Yeah, my gong gong and papa have passed away. Yes.
Yeah. And so that got me so hard. I mean, it literally like dagger in the heart, because the oranges. Yeah, I see at Fragile Dainty Flower here says the oranges, right? You understand that a lot of papas and moms and dads might not say I love you, but when they give you the oranges or food, I mean, because oranges, like my grandmother was Buddhist, and she raised us with a lot of Buddhist kind of beliefs, and that's what they offered to the gods and our ancestors.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And it's just so simple and so inexpensive, but the meaning. I'm getting chills now, and you made me cry.
I mean, that's really when I kind of like broke down and started crying, is when she gave me the oranges. Traditionally speaking, I just lost it, and it's hard because you wanna, it's hard to get to that point. That's when I just really broke down, where she was trying to give me everything she could. And that's when I started crying as well, right in front of her. I just lost it. And a lot of people have been reaching out to me, and they're like, well, you could have at least taken the oranges.
Taken one. Because you can't not take the stuff sometimes, right?
Yeah.
You go to grandma's house, she gives you food, you kind of have to pretend to eat it.
Yeah, no matter how bad it is.
Right?
Sometimes, and there was no way I was going to take the oranges either. I mean, who knew if this was their last stack of oranges that she was going to be able to get? So,
this is just like one example, like heartfelt example of the real, to be real, the dark side of what's happening. Aside from Corona, it's an outbreak of attacks with Asians. I've been reading at NetShark, the platform for global Asian news. I mean, there's been so many attacks that they have crimes against Asian Facebook that they created.
Yeah.
Everywhere you read, from the east to the west coast, all around, actually around the world. I've seen in Sydney and in London. What have you seen there, and what have you heard there in New York?
In New York, I think what's a little bit disappointing is, and I mean, I only know this as of March 8th, not today's date, but as of March 8th, there's been zero hate crimes recorded
Oh.
by the NYPD. And yet, Tuesday when I helped this old lady out was the same exact time an Asian girl who was 23 years old on her way to school was slugged in the face and called Chinese coronavirus for not wearing a mask.
Oh.
And people don't realize is that girl is still in Bellevue Hospital nursing a dislocated jaw.
Oh,
So,
gosh.
later that day, same thing, Upper East Side, an elderly Asian man was kicked down a flight of stairs. The same day, broad daylight. The same day I helped this, Chinese grandmother go home. This is just, New York is a very aggressive place, and even if there's subconscious racism going on underneath, it's exploding now.
Wow, that's crazy. Here in the West Coast, I just saw on Instagram that there was a Mulan poster in Pasadena, which is near LA, Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And somebody, crossed out the Mulan character's face and put toxic, and then they put Wuhan over Mulan and kind of with a play on the words. And this is real, right? And the crazy thing about this is that this isn't something that's new. It's just been brought to the surface, right?
Right. Right. That's what I'm trying to say is that there, the subconscious layer of discrimination is now coming out. And, what about people who live like you and I live in major cities where there are bigger Asian communities where, we feel a little bit more, perhaps a bit more confident. What about people who are the only Asian family in Iowa or
Yeah.
the only Asian family in or wherever it is,
Yeah.
where they are the only people. And if
Yeah.
something does happen, no one's helping them.
Yeah,
And,
absolutely.
and that's the scary thing. I did mention to you the other day that, as soon as my story posted that I've had a
Yeah.
tremendous
Well,
outreach of people pouring out to me, thousands of
oh,
people pouring out to me around the world, telling me their story. And one that really struck me was in Italy, in Milan in particular, where this Chinese girl who's going to school told me that, listen, there is not a big Asian presence here. I mean, what are we going to do? We're
wow.
quarantined. Before the quarantine, our stores were ransacked. People were like elderly, children, women, didn't matter.
Mm.
Being abused. It begs the question is when this virus is gone, will that continue?
Yeah, I would love to chat more about that, but a very interesting point that somebody made here. At Machiavelli, well, I like that handle. He says,
Yeah,
ugh, none of these cowards attack anyone who looks like they can defend themselves. And
absolutely.
to your point, you're just not any, none of us are any regular schmoes, but you don't want to mess with you because
Yeah,
you
no,
got a
so
little
to
bit of a
about,
background.
yeah, so I mean to add to that, yeah, when I was walking this woman home, I had steel-toe boot shoes on, and I also happened to be, a nine-time national champion in karate, NCAA
Nine times
nine,
over.
nine, and NCAA champion in fencing in 2007. And if anything were to happen to her or I, yeah, I probably had it covered, or at least had or at least had the confidence to have it covered. But
Yeah,
not. I mean, no, not a lot of people have a skill
yeah,
set to
right.
defend themselves. No one thinks
Yeah,
of building a skill set to defend themselves in this day and era. So,
yeah.
to add to that, I had the confidence to walk this grandmother home because, I mean, there was just no way in hell
Yeah.
anything was going to happen to her with me.
You didn't even think twice, huh? You were just like, oh hell's no.
Yeah, no, 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 no. I knew that if I knew that if anything were to happen, I would probably in turn feel bad for that person because
Yeah, yeah.
they're definitely gonna have a bad day.
Oh God, there is this kind of filial Asian duty. I did a documentary with AARP on Chinese caregiving heroes. It's called Circle of Love, and there is just like caregiving for elders or people in our families when they get older. Like we never talk about it in our families, but you know what? We got your back when stuff happens, right? Tragedy,
Yeah,
everything. So I love
yeah,
that that kind of surfaced, and there's so many other amazing stories like this that are surfacing. And so we opened up this conversation to everybody that's watching is to please send your stories. What they don't have to
yes,
be just crime related, but what are you guys doing, right? And I think a part of this is also how can we be the solution? One thing I love so much about your story is that you would have spoken up for her, but instead you took action because that's what it called for. And it
right,
just it just reminds everyone that's watching is that, we don't have to be powerless. Each and every one of us has the power to do one small act. And I just could imagine like that woman felt so at ease and protected by you. It would be great to kind of find her, right? Help
yeah.
us find her.
Yeah, if she ever sees this, hopefully she reaches out to me, and I will give her oranges.
I know. Or maybe the grandkids or somebody would see this, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I hope so.
Yeah, but so what else could we do? I mean, like for me, the reason why I reached out to you was because my power is I love to talk and tell stories. I've been a journalist for many years. I started like 23 years ago. So for me, there's a power in the word, both spoken and written. So I create blogs, I create content, and I wanted to find people like you to chat with, right? And what are you doing? What else? What now? What are the ripples?
I mean, I am encouraging people to continually tell me their stories, reach out to me, and I would like to gather all the information that is given to me. I mean, even the people who reach out to me, which is thousands, I have actually personally reached out to all of them back.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've
Wow.
literally spent the last 72 hours reaching out to every
Wow.
single person who reached out
Wow.
to me. Even if it was just a simple thank you, I thank them as well. So I would like people to continue to send me their stories, and I am going to continue to my article is going to be coming out tomorrow morning. I'm going to be sending it to a bunch of different publications about what's in store for Asian Americans, just because I'm truly concerned
Mm.
in regards to when this virus is gone,
Yeah.
what is going to happen to
Yeah.
us. I don't think that the discrimination is going to die down. I don't think that it's going to just go away. I do believe that it is going to continue, and I do believe it's going to continue in ways that we're really not understanding. What is it going to do for Asian Americans in universities? What is it going to do to Asian Americans
Business.
in businesses, small businesses in Chinatown, Koreatown, wherever it is? What is it going to do in hiring?
Yeah.
Businesses hiring. Are they going to be a little bit less likely to hire Asian Americans?
Yeah.
I absolutely think that all of those things are plausible.
Yeah. Even before we started hearing about all these attacks, I went to get my hair did in Chinatown. I've gone to all these like hipster places in San Francisco,
Yeah.
but they just don't know how to cut Asian hair. So I found this
Oh,
dude
I
that
feel
cuts
you.
for 20
Yeah.
bucks. I tipped him really well as well. And he was telling me before all the closures and like people, the governments were telling us to quarantine. The guy that cut my hair, the barber said, you know what, our business is down beyond 50%. And then I went to go get my bok choy for my
Yeah.
soup. And in Chinatown, and like it was sparse, usually like teeming with people, and then it was like ghost town. So I actually did a little walk and talk, video and vlog. We'll share it here later too. But I understand that like you said, you're going to start creating more content and writing more. Maybe we continue this conversation here.
Absolutely. Yeah. Ashley, when we had spoken earlier, you told me to, see what's going on in my Chinatown as well. And I had reached out to all the biggest places to potentially talk to them. And
Businesses, yeah.
yeah, and before I could even reach out to them, they had already posted in the newspaper that they
Mhm.
were shutting down. Jin
Wow.
Fong, which is funny because that is
That's your,
my Chinese name,
yeah.
Jin Fong, is the biggest dim sum yum thai restaurant in New
Wow.
York. It is giant. I mean, it's so big it has escalators to get in,
Wow.
and it had to close down
Wow.
because there was no way that they could stay open. So literally, most businesses in Chinatown are
Wow.
completely closed.
Wow. I mean, ugh, sometimes, I just think, what do we make of all this? I was a news reporter for about 8 years, and I would cover so much bad news, and people would always say, Tuan, there's always so much good news. How come there's just bad news that's shared? So, I mean, for me,
Right.
creating this Go Inspire Go platform is to inspire people to go here, get inspired by the everyday heroes, and then go and be the hero and help. And, we've been just so fortunate to have over like 150 volunteers. We've done stories like helping a 5-year-old girl she wanted to collect aluminum cans to feed the hungry homeless. We helped her feed over 200,000 people. So it's like that one article or that one video that you or I do that helped, for example, feed 200,000 people here. So
Right.
in your kind act, gosh, I saw it. We shared it. I saw it and then I shared it, and then NetShark shared it. Yeah, I tagged Benny Liu, the founder, and then he shared it, and it's like well over 70,000 views, and all these people.
Literally, literally overnight. It was
Yeah,
crazy. I literally just posted it, so that people could do the same and hopefully
yeah,
be inspired. And I am so glad it took on the momentum that it did. So
yeah,
I hope that continues, and I hope good deeds like that
yeah.
continue to grow.
Yeah, and that was just one like. Like I liked it, and I tagged Benny and NetShark, and that just goes to show that everybody at home watching, right? Like you have so much more power
Yes.
than you know. And like Kevin, our producer says, like we're all important to somebody. Sometimes it's so easy to feel powerless and be like, well, who's watching? Maybe there's only one viewer or two viewers, but you just never know that one kind act that you do could change the trajectory of someone's life. And in this case, 70 something thousand people, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And
Right.
so
Right.
I
Exactly.
just feel like thank you, Papas and Amma, for bringing us together, right? Now I have
Yes.
a new sister friend. Yeah.
Yes. Yes,
And,
absolutely.
yeah, and I would love to continue this conversation. And once you get that article out, please share,
Yes,
and I'll share my article with you. And everybody, let's
absolutely.
just start kind of crowdsourcing,
Yes.
um, support for one another, because it's not like, you're over there, it's you and then me. It's really we are going to
Yes,
get through this if we
we
lean
are.
on one another. And
Yes.
Asians, if you think about it, marketers out there, right? You know that in Asians, they clump us all together, but we make like what the biggest group of minorities around the world. And so we're a
Right.
powerful force. All, in your, wait, how tall are you? You said you're 5'3"?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, small but mighty, right? I mean,
Yes, yeah.
but the point is that we all have a difference, no matter what size we are, no matter what size our pocketbooks are, no matter what size our followings are, right? We all
Right.
have the power, and I encourage everybody here to comment or to share this conversation, and let's continue this conversation.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for
Thank
joining.
you. I'll see you soon.
Mwah.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Our papas are like up there, like smiling down upon us. Like,
Yeah, they are. They're so proud of us.
all right, see you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for
Absolutely.
watching. Please share,
Thank you
like,
so much, everyone.
yeah.